Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel, Earth Angel Tarot. And in today's Isis Unveil reading, we will be taking a look at your unspoken truths. Okay. So, this reading is going to be meant to expose or unveil your untold emotions. Okay. Which is what you may be feeling internally, but you have not been able to express externally. All right. And so these are the three cards that wanted to come out for this reading. Go ahead, take a look and see which one of these images calls out to you the most. As usual, I will put the image up again for a couple more seconds. This way you can see which one of these images you resonate with the most, okay? And whichever image that is, that will be the pile that will have messages in it for you. All right? So, happy picking. Hello to those of you who chose pile number one. So this is your image. All right. And the message is Mother of Life. Okay. And it says, when life seems dry, depleted, filled with repetitive tasks, or simply stagnant and stifled, Isis, the Mother of Life, holds the ability to revive even the most numb, resistant, and difficult circumstances in your life. She calls to you now, seeking to bestow gifts of life upon you. Be bold and brave, open your arms and receive. All right. And so, the message that I am getting with this Mother of Life, I initially got like the message that this is for a lot of mothers out there, who feels like their duties are never ending, right? Like it's just like day in, day out, the same mundane activities, right? And so you're feeling very tired. Pile number one for the mothers out there who are watching this reading and who this resonates with, right? You're feeling very tired, right? And you feel like day in, day out, it is the same old, right? And you may feel like you don't have enough time for self. You don't have enough time for fun. You don't have enough time for just silence, right? And so this is where Mother Isis, Goddess Isis, is coming in, asking for you to call on her for assistance. Okay. And so whenever Mother Isis or Goddess Isis comes up in these readings with messages like that, it could be a signal for you to start a relationship with her, to work with her. For those of you who are not, or who may have been interested but haven't fully devoted yourself into learning out a little bit more about her. This could be further confirmation that she's giving you the call to reach out to her. Okay. And for those of you who may already be working with her, this is just a time for you to build an even stronger relationship, right? And so, besides, that particular instance of working with Mother Goddess Isis, you could just call on whatever deity that you work with on your own, right? Um, your angels, your spirit guides. Maybe you all work with particular deities as well at this time. Use them as a source or a beacon of enlightenment, okay? Especially in times where you just feel like there is this overload, right? There, especially I'm getting like work overload, right? Especially with I'm getting mundane activities, right? Just like repetitiveness and doing the same thing day in, day out, and not feeling like you're getting anywhere. All right. So this is the call for you to breathe life back into yourself by calling on the assistance that's going to help you to navigate these situations at this time. All right. So this is the message that came through with that card. Now we'll go ahead and take a look and see what unspoken truths you guys are currently experiencing internally but not expressing externally. All right. And I've already pre-pulled your messages. So the first card you guys have is I blame myself for your actions. All right. And it says, I carry the guilt of your choices as though they were my responsibilities. Yes. And this just ties into what I was feeling like with the mother scenario, right? Just a lot of you feeling like there's this heavy burden on you to be responsible, not just for yourself, but for others as well. And I'm being told right now, it could also, if you are a father, right, this could also apply to you as well. Just being that person who's kind of like the head of the household and responsible for all of their duties, their personal duties, plus everyone else's, right? And when things don't go right, okay, in whatever particular situation that may come up, you take the blame for it, right? So you're carrying not only your burdens, but other people's burdens. And when things don't work out, you also carry their guilt, right? So you also may be a parent, I'm getting, who, mother or father, who feels as if, for instance, your child's life didn't go a certain way or didn't work out a certain way, you are the blame for it, right? You feel like you didn't do your due diligence to avoid certain situations or circumstances. So you put that guilt on yourself, right? If you are, and I'm also, I just picked up now, so for someone or some, a couple of people, this may even apply to a relationship, right? So not just a family dynamic, but separately, this may also apply to someone in relationships. Okay, so that if you feel like someone is not giving you their all, okay, or they're not fully invested into you in a relationship the way that you are invested into them, you're taking the blame for that, right? You're feeling like um, everything is your fault, right? So if someone's not treating you right or doing things that are not, you know, good for the relationship, you're taking the blame for that. Okay, and this could even go as far as if someone was cheated on. Instead of blaming the person who cheated, you blame yourself because you feel like you weren't enough or you weren't offering enough. All right, so those are a couple of different scenarios. So we have a family dynamic that's coming up with this card, as well as a relationship dynamic. All right, so you guys are carrying burdens. Okay, you guys are carrying burdens, pile number one, and not just burdens of your own mundane tasks, as I picked up earlier in this reading, just your day in, day out responsibilities, but also those of others as well. All right, and then you have, I am learning that I deserve better. Okay, and it says, walking away from you is an act of reclaiming my worth. Yeah, so you're starting to wake up, pile number one, to realizing that you can no longer carry the stress and you can no longer carry the burden of other people's actions. Okay. And so you're going through this phase where you're beginning to realize your self worth. Okay. And I more so specifically got with this card that this is why the relationship came up with this first card. So I feel like this second card is more specifically tied to anyone who's going through those relationship matters. So not the family dynamic version of it, but the relationship version of it. You guys are realizing your worth. All right, you guys are realizing your worth. You guys are realizing that you deserve better. You guys are realizing that where you're at right now is what's keeping you stagnant. Okay, so you're just waking up to realize that there's so much more, not only to life, but so much more to you. Okay, so much more to you that is to be offered, right? That is to be recognized, that is to be realized about yourself. All right. And then you have, how do I handle betrayal and what past betrayal still affects me? All right. And so, yeah, so I did that. Okay. So I picked up on the family dynamic really early in this reading, right? Mothers, fathers out there who has like this heavy workload and kind of feel like they're doing all of these mundane things, but it's reading nowhere. But now I do feel like that still applies, right? That's still there for those who it resonates with. But I really, this energy now is really picking up and going into the relationship dynamic. Um, that was that I mentioned earlier. So you guys have definitely been betrayed in some sense, okay, in regards to a relationship. All right, and it's still affecting you, but because this is an unspoken truth reading, it's something that you're kind of sweeping under the rug, so you're not really acknowledging that it is still affecting you, right? And so that's why in this reading it is calling for you to bring this unspoken truth to the surface, okay? Because you may not be realizing, or you may do be realizing your actions, such as taking the blame for other people's actions, feeling like you only getting what you deserve. It's going to be time for you to shift that energy. Okay, so the question for you is, how do you handle the betrayal, and what past betrayals are still affecting you at this time? All right, because it's time for you to release those things and let it go. It's time for you to bring it to the surface and realize that whatever has happened in the past, especially in regards to betrayals or other people's actions, it's time for you to realize that that was only a small fragment of your story, right? And it wasn't meant to consume you wholly. So in order for you to move past this pile number one, it is going to be something that you have to address and bring to the surface. Okay, so the question is, how do I handle betrayal? So based off this being an unspoken truth reading, you handle it by taking the blame for it, right? That's how you're handling it currently, is by taking the blame for it, because you feel like if you do that, that it gives it more um, validity, right? You feel like, oh, okay, if I can at least say that this is why that person did that, then it kind of, you feel like you understand it a little bit more, right? Versus just putting the blame on the other person and not, and feeling like you're not going to get closure from doing it that way. But it is the complete opposite, pal number one. It's time for you to give that burden back to the person who it belongs to, and wake up and recognize that there is so much more to you and so much more that you deserve, so that you can let go of the things that's keeping you stuck and keeping you stagnant, right? And let go of those things that's still affecting you, on a subconscious level, right? And keeping you in this loop to loop, not realizing that part of why you're experiencing the same mundane reactions or activities is because you haven't stepped outside of that loop, right? So this is why it feels like everything is repeating itself. All right, so now it's time for you all to step out of that loop. All right, and then you guys have, what are my hidden desires and passions that I've neglected? All right. So yeah, so this has definitely caused you to, I feel like, abandon self, whatever situation this is. And I even mentioned that earlier, in regards to the mother's situation or the parent situation. You feel like you're doing so much for other people, right? That you don't have time for yourself. All right. So this, let this apply or resonate wherever it resonates with in your life. But there is something that you have been neglecting, okay, about yourself. And it's something that you want to do, maybe secretly, or you just this desire that you've kind of like um, put off to the side, right? Because you're too busy focusing on other people's situations or problems, or maybe even passions, right? That you once were into and once, took the time and effort to be a part of, but that you've recently neglected, right? Because it says that you've neglected. So it's something that was once there, okay, that you have lost touch with, pal number one. All right, there's something that was once there that you have lost touch with. And I'm being called to acknowledge like both heart spaces here. So there's a heart space highlighted here, and then there's a heart also on this picture, right? So something connected to your heart space, your heart center, something that you were once, involved in a way where it was something that was passionate for you, or something that, really influenced you or inspired you. It has been lost. Okay, it has been lost, and I'm getting this because of the heart center blockage. All right, and this is why in the Mother of Life card, you're being called to call in assistance. Okay, to help that blockage be removed, to help that heart space be opened again, so that you can enjoy life again and let go of other people's burdens. Pile number one. All right, so you're meant to let go of other people's, you're meant to let go of blaming yourself for other people's actions. Okay, this is the unspoken truth that you're not recognizing about yourself. It's that you're taking on all of this and not allowing time for self. Okay, so it's time for you to let that version of yourself go where you're blaming yourself for what someone else did to you. Okay, and feeling like what was done or what could have been done to you, you were deserving of it. All right, time to step into the energy of learning that you deserve better. Okay, learning that there is better out there for you. Okay, and I just picked up also, this could also be, you know how I was saying, like the parental role earlier. I feel like the message is coming through now is that this could be reversed. You could be the child in a situation, well, not the child now, but um, the the I want to say karmic child is coming through, but inner child. Okay, this could be the inner child of you who feel like um, you were carrying your parents' burdens, right? You were carrying your parents' burdens and you were blaming your actions for your parents. So for someone out there, this is going to resonate with them. All right. Feeling like you were the stepping stool for your parents' actions. All right. So this has just come up for someone. All right. Feeling like you were the stepping stool for your parents' actions. All right. And maybe you felt like you had to be the one to be the responsible adult in the situation because your parent wasn't able to. And not that they weren't able to physically, they just chose to neglect it. So you had to be the person to pick up the pieces, right? In doing so, pushing all of what you wanted to do to the side, right? Not being able to live out your desires, not being able to live out your dreams because you had to be responsible for an adult parent, right? And so there may be something that you are, harboring emotionally in regards to that, right? And you may, as the card say, blame yourself for that instead of just putting the blame where it is supposed to be. All right. And then you guys have no boundaries. And it says difficult to establish healthy respect. Take care to ensure your needs are met. Respect self care limits. Yes, guys, pile number one, it is time for you to set boundaries. Okay, it is time for you to set boundaries, regardless of how or what area of your life this resonates with. It is time for boundaries to be set. All right, just as I was just giving the example of the child who would have been responsible for an adult parent being that stepping stool, right? It's time for you to say no longer to any of those type of situations in your life. Okay, it's time for you to acknowledge your worth. Okay, acknowledge that you deserve better than the treatment that you're receiving at this time. All right, and begin to establish self care. Begin to set limits, okay, to what people can and can't do when it comes to you. All right, and just speaking up for yourself is what I got. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. Okay, better late than never. All right, so, and even though you may have been like this submissive type of person all your life, it's okay to change. Okay, it's okay to change and realize that you come first. Because right now, there's with no boundaries, it's almost like you're being in certain situations or relationships, you may be treated like a placemat, right? Just walked all over. And when you're all walked all over, you're taking the blame for the person who's walking all over you. All right. So it's time for you to step out of that energy, pile number one, of blaming yourself for people's actions, allowing them to walk all over you, and time to realize that you deserve better. Okay. And realizing that what past hurts or what past betrayals that has happened to you, part of you being able to make this transition out of this energy is acknowledging it and releasing it. Okay. Oh, oh my gosh. I love when readers just perfectly like line up how they're supposed to, right? Um, so you guys have a betrayal. Yes. This is definitely double, triple, quadruple confirmation that you guys have experienced some type of betrayal, okay, that you're still holding on to. All right. And so that's why I felt like this energy was leaning more towards or the some type of relationship where there was some betrayal involved. All right. So yeah, so this is what's still lingering. Okay. This is what is still there. Okay. It's your unspoken truth, power number one, in the sense that you're not acknowledging it how you should be. So it's something that it affects you internally, right? But you're not able to just like let it out externally, right? Just like fully release it, let it go, acknowledge, like, yeah, this happened and I played, I took the blame and, I put all the blame on me and it was my fault. Like, just putting it all out there for what it was, what it is, and now what it should be, right? And what it should be is you just letting it go, right? Understanding that that happened to you and understanding what new steps needs to be taken in order for you to move forward from it. All right. And then you guys have perfectionism. All right. And this is someone, what I just got is someone ridiculing you, right? Ridiculing you when you're not doing this right or you're not doing that right, and because you're not doing everything right, this is why I do what I do. This is you make me do what I do, right? You make me cheat, or you make me do this, or you make me do that because you're not perfect enough, right? So putting that blame on you and making you feel as if because you're not doing things how they want them to do it, that you're responsible for why they're doing what they're doing, right? And so this is your wake up call. This reading, pile number one, is your wake up call. All right, to go ahead and let this go. Let the relationship go. If you're in a relationship where someone is pretty much gaslighting you, right? Maybe gaslighting you all the time, or just pointing out all of your flaws, or just giving you a hard time. This is because they want you to continue to feel disempowered, right? They don't want you to have the power that you have inside of you, right? They want to keep you minimized. They want to keep you little. So this is why it is going to be important for you to shed this situation. Pile number one, call on Mother Goddess Isis. Call on whatever deity you work with. Call on your angels, your spirit team, your spirit guides, your ancestors for guidance out of this, right? So that you can learn how to set boundaries for yourself. All right. And then you guys have to endure is to evolve. Your wounds tell your story, but your scars do not define you. Only you can do that. All right. Let this just be a lesson of the past. All right. It's what I'm getting with that. Let this be a lesson of the past so you can know going forward what you won't settle for. All right. And this actually, this, whatever this situation is, has been put in place as part of your soul. And I don't know how I want to say involvement, but evolvement, right? So this was all put in place to help make you stronger. Okay, to know the things that you have endured are the things that you don't want, right? So in the next phase of your life, you know what to look out for, you know what to avoid. All right. And then you have, as you release things not meant for you, you will be brought new ones that better align with your magic. Yes. And this is what I was saying. This is why whoever this person is in this situation that kind of like gaslights you or makes you feel bad or whatnot, it's because they don't want you to recognize your own magic. They don't want you to recognize your own power, right? So they try to keep you minimized. All right. But as I was just also saying, you will Once you let go of, what things has happened and you take them as a lesson learned, you know what to look out for in the future, right? You know what signs to look out for in people, what behaviors to look out for in people, what patterns to look out for in people, and you know what to avoid, right? So that the new ones that's coming towards you will be for a better alignment, okay, for your soul's purpose, for your soul's growth, right? And not someone who's trying to keep you trapped in this bubble, okay? So now we'll pull some tarot messages, see what else Mother Goddess Isis have for you in regards to your unspoken truths. So thank you, beautiful, beloved Mother Goddess Isis. What else do you have for the collective who chose pile number 1? All right, and you guys have 6 of Wands, and this is beautiful showing up here because the 6 of Wands is a victory, right? Being successful over all of your triumphs, right? And so with this coming up, pile number 1, this is just confirmation that you will overcome this. You will overcome this. All right, 5 of Wands. All right, you will overcome this pettiness, this battle that you've been going through with someone in a relationship, okay, or just in a situation in general. All right, you will be victorious in being able to do that and move forward. You have the Knight of Pentacles, all right? And I feel like with the Knight of Pentacles coming up, like you're going to be able to move forward in a more grounded way. The more you open up to respecting yourself and giving yourself this self-care that you need and creating those boundaries and limits, the more you'll be able to see what I was saying earlier, what it is that you don't want and what it is that you do want, right? Because you've already experienced what you don't want. So it'll be easier for you to transition into what it is that you do want and move towards it, right? You can see he sees the pinnacle in the far distance, right? But he's just going to trot there slowly, slow and steady, right? Slow and steady wins the race, and he's not going to rush into anything in pursuit of happiness, right? And so that's another message for you, pal. Number 1, don't rush to anything in pursuit of happiness. All right, don't take your time to get there because spirit is going to provide you new ones that better align with your magic. All right, so you just have to be open to receive. You don't have to rush into it. All right, and then you have the Last Judgment. All right, and this is the Judgment card coming through saying that your prayers will be answered. All right, your prayers will be answered as soon as you lift your head and answer the call, right? So as you see in this image, her head is down, but her spirit, right, is looking for the light, right? So as soon as you are able to answer that call, pal number 1, and realize what it is that has been keeping you feeling down and out, realizing what that is and addressing it, this is when you will be able to move forward. This is when you will recognize your self-worth. This is when you will recognize that you deserve something better, and that for the longest of time you've been carrying other people's burdens that were not yours, and it has just put you in this state of just not being able to progress or move forward. All right. And so this is what Mother Goddess Isis wants you to address at this time, right? How have you been handling the different betrayals in your life? Okay. And how is it still affecting you? All right. Acknowledging that for the longest of time, you have been blaming yourself for other people's actions when it was not your fault. All right. The betrayals that has happened, let them be a thing of the past. It was meant to help you to evolve and to tell your story. All right. And you can maybe even save someone else who you may see the signs of them experiencing or going through what you have went through. Right. Tell your story so that you can help out the next person to not go through what you went through. All right. So it's just it has been a learning experience. It's what they want. It's a beautiful, beloved Mother Goddess. I just want you to know that this situation has been a learning experience to help you to step into your power, lift your head, step into your power for growth. All right. Growth of the self and growth of the soul. All right. So that is all I have for you, beautiful pal number 1. Really hope you enjoyed. If so, please be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and until next time, my lovelies, take care and bye bye. Hello to those of you who chose pound number two. So, this is your image. All right. And the message is a divine destiny. All right. And it says, the divine warrior is within you, helping you to continue with a worthy path even during times of difficulty. When faced with a challenge, a true warrior will summon more of him or herself to the cause. It might be by bringing more wisdom, focus, or intelligence, or surrendering into the divine. The warrior within has great inner resourcefulness and determination. All right, so that is divine destiny for you all. And what I was getting with this power number two is for you all not to give up. All right. You have a greater purpose, you have a greater calling. All right. So, regardless of what may be going through at this time, what you all may be going through at this time is going to be important for you to persevere and to not give up. All right. I'm picking up Nine of Wands energy. All right. Also being a test of faith. All right. And sometimes we are called to do just that, to surrender to the divine. All right. Surrender to the divine and trust that they have our best intentions in mind, right? They know the path ahead of us, all right? And they know the different trials and tribulations that it's going to take for us to get through the path. But the test of faith is where you are called to continue to persevere and to endure even through whatever challenges that you're going through. All right. You have a warrior spirit. All right. You have a warrior spirit who knows how to push through. Okay. In testing times. Okay. And this is what you are being called to do, is to continue to push through whatever testing times you may be going through or you may be experiencing it at this time. All right. And it is for you to gain more wisdom. Okay. Whatever situations you may be dealing with, it is for you to gain more wisdom. Okay. It's to teach you to focus more, it's to teach you to use your intelligence more. Right. So it's meant to awaken parts of you that you may have, that may have been sleep. Okay. So trying times are meant to be tests of faith and tests of endurance and tests of you being able to bring to the forefront what spirit needs you to bring in order to move forward. All right. So that is the message that has come through with the Divine Destiny card. Now let's see what is your unspoken truth, pal number two. All right. And I've already pre-pulled your cards. So the first card you have is, I thought I could heal you. All right. And it says, my love for you blinded me to the harm you caused me. All right. So some of you, and this is, I'm getting some of you sticking out a tough situation, right? Because you thought that you could fix this situation. All right. Whether it be a situation or a person. All right. Some of you have really stuck through some difficult and challenging times because you thought that you could bring about change. All right. You thought you could heal this situation or you could heal this person. All right. But it is now time for you to realize, pile number two, that doing so has brought more harm to you than it has helped you. All right. And so this is why, with the divine destiny message, is that these challenging times are meant to awaken you. All right. And so this is part of what you are supposed to awaken to, is that you can't change or fix every situation or every problem. Okay, and this is supposed to be an eye opener for you. Okay, in a way where you realize that other people's actions or problems are not always yours, and if you aren't able to fix or correct those other people's actions or problems, that does not make it your fault. All right. So some of you stuck around for the long haul or for the long run because you thought that somewhere in the equation you would be able to change the problem. All right. For it to have a different solution. All right. But Spirit is saying that no, it's not all, it won't all add up. All right. And then you have, I forgive to set myself free. All right. And it says, my forgiveness isn't for you, it's my path to healing and liberation. Yes. So this is important, pal number two, because this is you waking up to realizing that even though you were not able to heal this situation, and if anything, it brought more harm to you than it did help you, now is the time for you to just realize that that's okay. And it's time for you to just forgive this situation and forgive this person so that you can be set free. Okay, so it's not that you're, as the card said, it's not that you're forgiving. It's you're not forgiving the person for the sake of the person or the sake of the situation. You're forgiving it so that you can release yourself from the attachment to it. All right. Um, you may feel like, whatever the situation, whatever harm the situation has brought to you, or whatever I'm getting, like whatever darkness this situation may have brought to you, um, it's time to just release it and let it go. All right, because for a long time you were blinded to the consequences of this situation or other people's actions. For a long time you were blinded by them. All right, because you thought you could make things better. All right, but once you get to the point of recognizing that you can't make things better all the times for everyone, then you come to a place of surrender, right? And more so surrender for self, right? And not putting that burden on yourself, and not allowing yourself to feel obligated for these situations, right? And just putting yourself now at the forefront of priority, okay? Prioritizing your needs, prioritizing your wants, okay? So that you can heal from whatever this will have been for you and liberate yourself and move forward. All right. And I do feel like I was saying with the Nine of Wands energy, I was picking up whatever situation this is for you guys, it has been, it is on your path, okay, as a test of perseverance, as a test of being a testament of being able to move forward and out of this energy. Okay. And then you guys have, what unhealthy habits do I have and what are they masking? All right. What unhealthy habits are you holding on to? Right. And I'm getting just like all you just being the support. Um I can't think of how I want to turn it, but like when someone like leans on you for support, and you're like their stability in a way where you continue to allow them to do wrong because they know they can come back to you for the support. So that's the type of support I mean. Like someone who is, they know that this situation or this person has these unhealthy habits, but yet you still feed into them, right? You still feed into them because you feel like if in doing so, that one day this person will wake up, right? And do better, right? And so this is why the card says, I thought I could heal you, right? So you keep on, um, I'm not going to say encouraging, but you keep on, I don't know why I can't get the right word for this. Um, but just being that person who is the backbone to the problem, right? So let's just say, for instance, if you knew someone who was on drugs, right, and you You pray for them to, get clean, to stop doing drugs, or, and this, I'm just using this as an example, but there could be other bad habits as well. But let's just use the drugs for example. You knew the person was on drugs, right? But you still provide them with money, and they're going to go use the money to buy drugs, right? So it's like you're essentially feeding their bad habit, but you're feeding their bad habit because you feel like if you, by in doing so, you keep them close. Okay, you keep them close to you, and it prevents them from going astray, right? So you do it just so that you have that line of connection, with the hopes of one day them changing, right? Changing. And like I said, the drugs is just one example, but it could be other bad habits that you as a person are feeding for someone else, right? And so Spirit is saying it's time for you to detach yourself from those, from other people's bad habits, okay? And anything, any wrongdoing that they have done to you because of their bad habits, it's time for you to detach yourself from that, so that you can walk away and feel free and liberated from their problems and their situations, okay? So yeah, that's what I'm getting with the unhealthy habits. You guys are definitely um you're feeding in this particular, like with the particular messages that's coming out, I feel like you guys are feeding other people's unhealthy habits. So that's your unhealthy habit, right? It's feeding into other people's unhealthy habits because of fear of um the detachment that comes from if you don't. All right. And then you have, how do I deal with rejection and what past rejections still affect me? Yes, and this is why I feel like you have that urge to hold on, right? The urge to do these things that keep people close because of past rejections, right? You're someone who doesn't take well to being rejected, right? So even though you may be contributing in a not so positive way, you're still going to do it because it prevents that person from walking away, right? And this could be, like I said, whatever bad habit that you're feeding into. All right. You're being that person's support system. All right. You're being that person's support system because you feel as if, that's what the connection is between you two, or three or four, or however many people may be involved, right? You feel like that's the connection that you all have. All right. So now it's time for you, pal number two, to forgive, to set yourself free, and realize that this person is doing what they're doing, or persons are doing what they're doing because of themselves, right? It's because of themselves. It's because of the choices that they have made, the choices that they continue to make, right? And they may just dangle certain things over your head to kind of guilt trip you as if you had some part to do with it, but in actuality, you don't. So just forgive so that you can set yourself free. All right. Forgive, not forgive the person, as the card says, for, what they have done. You're not doing it to liberate them. You're doing it so that you can liberate yourself. All right. And you guys have spirit awakening. And it says, sit with your shadows. It's the way to enlightenment. Okay. Intuition, spirituality. And this is just a call for you to go within, power number one. All right. And this is tying into your divine destiny. All right. You need to look at whatever situation, um, or even relationship that this is for you, and the unhealthy habits that it has caused for you um, to create, right? You need to look at the background meaning behind that. All right. Because, like I said, with the divine destiny, this is like a test of faith. This situation that you could currently be in is challenging for a reason, it's challenging on purpose. Okay. Do you allow yourself to forgive yourself? Okay. Do you allow yourself to forgive others? Okay. So that you can move forward. All right. So that you can really release and let go of unnecessary, unneeded baggage, right? If you feel rejected, why is it that you feel rejected? Why is it that whatever this is you hold on to for the fear of being rejected, right? and how it ties into your unhealthy habits of feeding into other people's unhealthy habits just to keep them close. So this is what you're meant to look at and on a deeper level. Okay, these are things that you're dealing with internally, but are being not being able to be expressed externally, right? Just kind of get this energy of just like you kind of just like go with the flow, right? Go with the flow and help and hope that over time things will change or things will become different. All right. But Spirit is saying that it is time for you to forgive and move on. Okay. And not just forgiving yourself for the actions that you have made that may have fed into whatever this is, but also forgiving the others for their actions as well. Okay. And then you guys have overachiever. All right. And this is like what I was picking up, and I still can't get the proper phrase, but like someone who is just like that someone that people lean on, right, for all type of support, even when it's not the best support. And part of you doing that is because you have this overachiever type energy where you want to like satisfy it all and feel like you have um in this situation, you would be the person who was the one responsible for helping the situation out. You know, not realizing when to release and let go, right? You feel like you're responsible for the success, if ever there were to be one from the situation. You would be the person who turned things around. So you just want to keep, like, you want to be the person who is responsible for if things go good, but you're not realizing that when things are going bad, right? You're not realizing that it's just continuing to take you further and further down that rabbit hole, right? You want to be responsible for it all. You want to be responsible for what you have going on and for other people's problems because you feel like you are the person who could come in and fix things. As the card says, I thought I could heal you, right? The overachiever feel like they can do it all, right? And so this is a time for self-reflection. Okay, why do you want to feel like you can do it all? Why do you want to take on everyone's burdens plus your own? What unhealthy habits are you um, portraying that's feeding into these things? This is all part of a spiritual awakening for you to realize these things about yourself, right? And so now you have to realize that you can't be responsible for everything. You don't have to be the overachiever. Forgive, release, and let go. Move on, right? So that you can be in tune more with your spiritual side of self, your intuition, right? And understanding what your true purpose is, all right? And then you guys have belonging. Yes, you want to fit in, right? You want to be that person who fits in. You want to be that person who's not rejected, right? So there's this sense of always wanting to be a part of something, regardless if it's good or bad, right? So that you feel like you belong in some sense. Okay, if you feel like you are a part of something, right? And this could stem from um, not belonging, let's just say, in your childhood. All right. Maybe you were someone who were considered an outcast in your childhood, right? And so, as you became older or an adult, you kind of like um, created your own structure of, you know, having people nearby and involved and, not allowing them the space to stray away, right? So you created your own little close knit circle, having your own support, right? But you're not looking at the supporting, or let's just say the surrounding not even benefits, but the surrounding detriments that could come with some of the company that you keep, right? So this is why it's important for you to realize who or what are you holding on to for fear of rejection and for fear of wanting to feel like you belong. Okay, who or what are you holding on to? All right. And so that you can learn how to release and let go of whatever that is. Okay. And then you have people will come back into your life after they get disappointed by people they thought were better than you. All right. So you trying to hold on, pal number one, doesn't do anyone a good benefit, right? Don't be afraid to have people walk out of your life, okay? Don't be afraid to have people walk out of your life because, as you can see in this image here, like this person is leaving their life, and then here you are with the sign, please come back, fear of rejection, wanting to belong. But, like, don't let this be you because it just keeps you in this energy of not recognizing um, your truest potential around you because you're chasing up behind someone else and their bad habits. All right. So don't be afraid when people have to exit your life or when people want to exit your life. All right. Don't be involved in unhealthy habits just to keep people close by. Okay. Because you thought you can fix them, you thought you can heal them. All right. It's time for you to just forgive whatever the situation or person has done to you and let them go about their way. Okay. Let them go about their way. Okay. And realizing your own worth. Okay. Giving yourself that space for a spiritual awakening. Okay. Because this situation or this person is just keeping you feeling like you're stagnant, you're stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. All right. So this is why with the divine destiny, I do feel like whatever situation this is for you all is a life lesson. Okay. Spirit wants to see if you're able to persevere out of this challenging situation and recognize your worth, recognize your wisdom, and recognize things about yourself that you may have been too blocked to see. All right. And it has a lot to do with feeling rejected, has a lot to do with feeling like you maybe in the past didn't belong. And so now you keep these situations or these relationships around you just for the sake of feeling like you belong. All right, but not realizing the detriment that this could be causing you. Okay, and then you have they can't take nothing from you but notes. Let them watch and learn. All right, so let them watch your soul ascension. Let them watch you level up. All right. If they want to run away and continue to do um, or be a part of whatever bad habits or whatever bad deeds that they're into, let them do that. And in the meanwhile, allow yourself to level up. How number two, allow yourself to level up. All right. Like I say, forgive them for all of their misdeeds and just realize that even though this was a situation you thought you could help and you thought you could fix, you thought you could heal, I'm sorry to tell you, but that's not the case. All right. And you may know this already. It's not the case. People have to want to be saved. People have to want to be healed on their own accord. Okay. Not because we on the other side want them to. It has to be something that they want to do. Okay. It has to be something that they want to change about themselves. And you're holding on power number two because you want to have this fear of, I mean, you want to have this sense of belonging. You want to have this sense of feeling like if you can fix this situation, it's something else to add to your list of being an overachiever, right? You were able to save the day. All right. So then now let's see what tarot messages beautiful beloved mother goddess Isis has. So thank you. And what additional messages do you have for pile number two in regards to this situation? All right, but you are a divine warrior. All right, pile number two, you are a divine warrior. And yes, look at this. You have the Five of Swords. You are a divine warrior who is currently going through a challenging time, right? But with the Five of Swords energy, the Five of Swords energy for me is either you or them, right? It's either you or them. So the Five of Swords energy is this energy of someone has to walk away with defeat and someone has to walk away with the win. And so the question for you, pal number two, is which side are you going to be standing on? right? The one who is victorious or the one who is defeated. All right. And we have the Queen of Pentacles. All right. And the Queen of Pentacles is all about nurturing and grounding yourself, nurturing and grounding your energy, right? Being able to be a provider for self and others, but in a more positive way, right? And so, like, even with this Five of Swords, it's like, this is the person I do feel like you will be the one walking out victorious, because this is the person who you tried to save, right? Look how this person looks in despair, right? And like they're giving up and like this is the end all be all, right? And so then we have the Queen of Pentacles coming up where there's this radiant light coming through. But her back is also turned to this person, right? This is you realizing you can no longer heal or save them like you thought you could, right? So you being the person who walks out of the situation victorious, right? Because you're realizing, you come to a realization that you just can't do it, right? You just can't be that person to save someone who does not want to be saved, right? You can't be that person to save someone who does not want to be saved. And then look, you have the Fool. All right. And this is great. The Fool is all about a fresh start, right? Taking that leap of faith and venturing off onto a journey of the unknown, right? So if this is something that you've known for a long time, um, this is the Fool is part of being able to step into something new, walking away from this just to step into something new. And it will bring enlightenment for you. All right. It will allow you to tap into your intuition, to tap into your spirituality. All right. To find focus and to find balance. All right. The Two of Pentacles. All right. Finding that focus and that balance that has been missing from your life for a long time. Right. And I think in the Divine Destiny card up here, it also mentions something about being able to focus. All right. Being able to focus and balance after walking away from this, I'm getting life draining um, situation, right? I do feel like this has been a life draining situation. And with this being an unspoken truth, it's something that you internalize, but you don't externalize as far as recognizing the truth around it, right? And so this is what you're being called to do. All right. Recognize the truth around the situation. Pound number two. All right, my love. So that is all that I have for you. Thank you for tuning in. Hope it resonated. If so, please be sure to hit the like button, to leave a comment, and also to subscribe. And until next time, my lovelies, take care and bye bye. Hello to those of you who chose pound number three. So this is your image. All right. And the message is Wings of Isis. Okay. And it says, you have a special spiritual relationship with the angelic worlds. Part of your soul purpose is to birth angelic consciousness and values such as fearlessness, compassion, and service into this human culture. This oracle also brings you angelic assistance, intervention, and confirmation too. All right. Wings of Isis. So, yes, you guys, this pal, you are definitely divinely guided. All right. You are definitely divinely guided with a divine mission at hand. All right. You have the right soul connections, right? On a divine level, on an angelic level. Okay. And I would say that going into this reading, the energy did feel a little lighter compared to the other two readings. All right. So you guys have a angelic connection. All right. And you are meant to work with that angelic connection as well as to connect with and help others. Okay. To establish some type of divine connection, right? Helping people to step out of being fearful of things. Okay. Helping people to express compassion. All right. Helping to be helping by being of service to others. Okay, I'm getting someone who I'm getting volunteer. Right, some of you may be a lot of you may be like volunteers when it comes to certain things in at your work, in your community, with the youth, with the elderly, whatever the case is when it comes to volunteering. Some of you are involved in that, okay? And it's because you are considered an earth angel, right? Someone who has come here as an earth angel to help shed love, light, compassion, sympathy, empathy. Okay, all of those things that a lot of people lack, right? So you're here to kind of bring in that frequency. All right, earth angels. Yes, that's what majority of you are. All right, and this is why you have a strong connection to the angelic realm, to the angelic world. All right, it's because you are meant to help bring in the light. All right. And you can call on your angels for assistance whenever you need them in regards to whatever situation, whether it be for yourself or for someone else. All right. And so that is the message that has come through with the Wing of Isis. But now we'll take a look at what unspoken truths you guys have. And I have already pre pulled your messages. So we have I fear being ordinary. Okay. And it says, my grandiosity masks my insecurity about not being enough. And with this power number 3, your spirit team is saying for you to believe in yourself. Okay. Believe in yourself and tap into the divine frequency that you carry. Okay. Right now you may come off as someone who just wants to fit in, but you know you're grander than that. Okay. You know that you're grander than that on a soul level. Okay. It says, my grandiosity masks my insecurity about not being enough. And your spirit team is saying that you are enough and you feel it on the soul level. You may not just know how to express it on a human level. All right. So just believe in yourself and your abilities and the different frequency that you bring down here. So when things are happening for you, um, I'm even getting like miraculous things are happening for you, or you're touching people's hearts, or whatever the case may be. Don't take those things as coincidences. All right. Don't take those things as being something that was coincidental. All right. Because you are the beacon of light that is bringing about all of these things that's happening, okay, in a positive manner for you. All right. So spirit wants you to be able to believe in yourself when it comes to that. All right. So you also have, I really don't care, and you're too ignorant to see it. All right. And it says, my indifference is masked by pretense, and I rely on your inability to recognize it to maintain control. Yeah. So we have two images here. Pile number 3 of someone with a mask on. All right. So you guys are really masking your truest potential. All right. You guys are really masking your truest potential. I'm getting planet small. All right, you guys are really playing it small, um, on purpose, right? You're not allowing yourself to step into the divine energy that you have. You may even be afraid of it, right? A lot of times, especially when we're used to, well, we're all born into the 3D, right? We come in this human form, and so if that's what you've lived as for majority of your life, it's hard to recognize when different synchronicities or different blessings or different miracles are happening, that you may actually be a part of why that's happening, right? And it's easier to take it as a form of coincidence rather than you manifested it or I manifested it, right? So this is you. I get power number 3, being afraid to stand tall and step into your power, right? Because there's this insecurity that you're not doing enough. All right. And spirit is saying that everything that you are doing is more than enough, and but there's still more for you to do. Okay. And you want people to not see you for that, right? As the card says, my indifference is masked by pretense, right? And I rely on your inability to recognize it to maintain control, right? So you like for people to not see the difference in you, right? To not see the different abilities within you, right? Because that gives you the sense of being in control of situations. All right. But it's time to step into the limelight and take off the mask, and you recognizing that it's you as an individual who brings in all the synchronicities that you see manifest before your eyes. And it's because you have a divine mission and a divine purpose. All right. To spread angelic consciousness. All right. To help people get into their own personal soul alignment, right? To make their own connections with the divine, right? And so you are someone who has been brought down here or who chose to come down here for that reason. All right. And then you guys, how do I deal with anger and what lies beneath my anger? And I feel like with this, with the anger, that your anger is another form of a mask for you, right? It's another form of a mask that you use to cover up your true intentions and your true emotions. And I do feel like it's because you guys, there's a sense of not fully understanding. Okay, at this moment, you guys may be like in this limbo phase, and it may be frustrating, right? And so because you don't fully get, it's like here you are, this person who's shedding, trying to shed all this love, light, and affection into the world, right? But you don't even fully know yourself. So you're trying to share all of this for others, but you don't even know like where to begin with yourself because of the mask that you carry, because of the mask that you have on, right? And so you may take that frustration out um on other people, on, take it out in different situations or circumstances, right? So the question is for you to recognize how you're dealing with these frustrations and how you're dealing with these angers and what lies beneath it. And what lies beneath it for you, pal number three, is the fact that you don't feel like you're fully in tune. You don't feel like you're fully tapped in. It's like I feel like you're a good person at heart and by soul, right? And you're able to express that and put that out into the world, but you haven't quite figured out how to tap into it for self, right? And so those anger outbursts could come out, show up for you in different forms or fashion, okay, in your life, or against, different in different situations with different people, different circumstances. So they show up as a form because they show up as a form of frustration, right? Because here you are feeling like you have so much to offer and you're this good person, you can do this, you can do that for others, but at the end of the day, it's like, what are you doing for yourself, right? Which causes that frustration. All right. And then you have, what past experiences still haunt me and affect my present behavior? All right. What are you still holding on to? Okay. That's adding to your list of frustrations. What are you still holding on to? And part of, it's all going back to the mask, right? You guys are not removing the mask and allowing your authentic self to show. And part of you being able to allow your authentic self to show is to address things, right? Address who you are on a deeper level. Okay? Address who you are on a soul level. Okay? Looking at, and I just picked up the anger that lies beneath, right? The anger that lies beneath comes, some of it comes from past experiences. All right. So some of you are still internalizing some past experience, and this is what caused anger outbursts from you, okay, or causes frustrations from you, right? And it's because you haven't addressed it head on, pile number three. You haven't addressed what this past experience is, that's haunting you and affecting your present behavior of frustration and angers. You haven't addressed it head on, right? You haven't really took a deep dive into those past experiences and dissected them and acknowledged them and released them, right? You haven't fully done that, right? And so that's why this is part of the reason why you can go into the world and be a good person for others, but it's hard for you to be a good person for yourself. It's because of the past experience burdens that you are holding on to in regards to self, right? And this is why it may put you in this position of, being in this mental space of how can I be good for others but not be good for myself. All right. And it's because you need to remove the mask and really pay attention or acknowledge who the authentic self is. Okay. And stop telling yourself that you don't care, but you do. Okay. And if you really don't care, be 100% honest with yourself and others about really not caring. All right. But I do feel like it's just a mask there, um, that helps to hide the fact that you really do care. All right. But it's going to come down to the core of addressing what needs to be pulled up from the surface, right? What needs to be pulled up from the waters, right? And be revealed. All right. As the moon in the background is there, that's what it does. It reveals all that is hidden. All right. So you need to pull those things to the surface. Pile number 3. All right. And then you guys have shedding illusions. Okay. And it says the first step is awareness. The second is acceptance. Yes. Reality, honesty, self love. Yes. This is exactly what I was just saying. Shed the illusion that everything is all right, because that's just the mask that you're wearing, saying that everything is all right. All right. Shed the illusion that there is whatever happened in the past that it no longer haunts you, because essentially it does, right? So this is why it says the first step is awareness. And this is what I was saying, bringing things to the surface so that you can acknowledge and release. All right. The second step, acceptance, which is acknowledging, right? So that you can release those things that has a hold on you, um, in some shape or form when it comes to underlying anger issues or underlying frustrations, right? So this is you looking at things from more of a reality standpoint and being honest with yourself and learning to love yourself regardless of what past experiences you went through. All right. Shedding the illusion that everything is just fine. All right. When in actuality, only to a certain extent it is, right? Because that's like I said earlier in the reading, there is a lighter energy to this pile, right? So you guys have this good soul energy, right? Good frequency energy, right? And this is how you're able to be a good person out in the world. But Spirit wants you to learn how to be a good person to yourself. All right. And you guys have money matters. So, you guys, this is a group who is, influenced by money, right? Whether it be good or bad. Maybe you're someone who, treat money as if it doesn't matter, but essentially it does, right? Because of maybe some past experiences that you've had. So you act as if money is not the end all be all for you, but on a deeper level, it really is, because you may have been without, or you may have experienced times of lack, and so you could treat it either one or two ways. Been there, done that, so no, money really doesn't matter to me, I've experienced the harder times. Or been there, done that, and yes, money really does matter to me because I don't want to go through that experience again. Right. So this is it all boils back to pile number 3 is getting back to the root cause. Okay. The root cause. Maybe some of you had some type of financial loss. Okay. That was part of your past experience, that's still haunting you, right? Maybe some of you had um, uh, some type of financial loss in the past, right? That may have that could have been in the form of losing a job, right? Losing stability, right? Losing a home, right? And so it's still haunting you to this day, because you may even honestly be still going through the ripple effects of it. All right. And for others of you, like, the money matters could be in the form where, like I was saying, you don't want to have to ever go through that. So you put money over everything, right? You put money over everything because you don't want to have to go through having a hardship when it comes to money matters, right? So that could be one of the things, or one of the issues that stems from, or one of your past experiences where your frustration stems from. All right. And then you guys have impulsiveness. All right. And this could be part of what the money matters or money problems could have been for some of you, right? That could have put you in dire situations, right? Is your impulsiveness to shop, your impulsiveness to buy, right? And that kind of caused a bad habit that made things spiral downwards for you, right? And so, like I said, for some of you, I'm even picking up that you may even be still feeling the effects of this, right? And so you get frustrated or you get angry because you feel like there's not enough, right? There's never enough, right? No matter what, it's like there's never enough. And so you put on this mask to go out into the world that everything is fine. But behind the scenes, you're really suffering, especially on a financial level. All right. And this isn't going to apply for everyone. All right. But this is a message for someone. It won't apply for everyone, but it is a message for someone. Right. And so then for you, for whoever this applies to when it comes to impulsiveness and money matters, the point of this is to be able to remove the mask of feeling like you need to have all of these things, right? And that's part of how you fit in, right? So this is a call for you to look at the impulsiveness that has caused the issues, that has put you in situations that cause frustration, right? And how do you fix them? How do you correct them? Okay, at what point do you remove this mask of everything is fine and I'm just gonna, try my best to make it through, to actually removing things and look at shedding the illusion, right? And looking at things from a reality standpoint, right? And being honest with yourself and realizing that it's up to you to um, dig yourself out of the hole that you put yourself in, right? It's up to you. All right. And so that's just, for whoever that specifically applies to. All right. And then you have, don't let your ice cream melt while you're busy counting someone else's sprinkles. Yes, not being concerned about what other people have and focusing on what you have in front of you. All right. Focusing on what is in front of you. Okay. And not trying to be concerned with everything else that's around you. All right. Shedding the illusion that you have to succumb or live up to certain expectations, right? And just being able to live in and walk in your own lane. All right. And then you have, don't go backwards into habits and situations that weren't helping you evolve. Stay consistent with moving forward, movement and positive changes. Stay consistent with forward movement and positive changes. All right. And so this is for some of you who may need to break those bad habits of impulsiveness, break the bad habits that cause money matters, right? Um, Let this be an upward movement for you. Like I said, digging yourself out of the hole that you created for yourself, right? Looking at things from a more reality standpoint. All right. And that's just for those who, the money matters and the impulsiveness applies to. But for others, it's just, you know, looking at what frustrations or what angers are lingering or are still present because of past experiences. All right. So that you can break the habits and situations from that, right? Okay, so you can bring to the surface those past experiences, how they still haunt you, address it and release it and move forward. Okay, but you have to stay consistent with it. Okay, you have to maintain continue to be positive around it. All right, and not pushing it to the background. All right, not sweeping it under the rug and not acting like it never existed or it never happened. Right, it's time to be true to yourself in whatever different situations or scenarios these are for you. Pal number three, because you have this high frequency that you uphold to be able to help others, but you need to use that same frequency to help uplift and uphold yourself. All right. So now let's see what tarot messages the beautiful beloved Mother Goddess Isis has for you all in regards to this situation. So thank you, beautiful beloved Mother Goddess Isis. What additional messages do you have for pal number three? Yes, so it's going to be important, um, pal number three, that you guys are tuning in and focusing on yourself. Okay, you have the right vibration. I do feel like you have the right frequency, but you are able to emit it into the world, but now it's time to transmit some of that energy into self. And you guys have the Five of Wands, okay, that came up in reverse. So y'all just stop fighting with yourself around certain things. All right, stop fighting with yourself around certain things or certain issues. All right, and look at this, we have the Ace of Wands. All right, being able to live in your truth and live in your power, right? Regaining a new sense of passion, okay? So that and I'm getting passion around self, all right? Passion around self so that you can emerge into the world as an even brighter spiritual being, okay? But this time shedding light, not just shedding light for others, but also illuminating some of that light from yourself, right? For yourself, okay? And we have justice, all right? Things coming into balance, all right? Things coming into balance, and you all being able, I'm getting with this, you all being able to see the bigger picture. And it has a lot to do with the release of those past experiences that you are subconsciously still holding on to. All right, the releasing of that is what's going to bring you tranquility and what's going to bring balance for you all. All right, and look at this, we have the Fool. All right, you being able to start a new journey. All right, and I'm getting a new journey of self-discovery, a new journey for self. All right, letting those things that were still haunting you be a thing of the past and letting them be behind you so that you can move forward. All right, so this is going to be essential for you. Shedding those illusions, okay? Taking the first step of recognizing and acknowledging and making aware things that has been holding you back, and then learning how to accept that it is what it is so that you can move forward and move on. All right, Five of Wands in reverse, letting go of that battle. I'm getting battle between self, okay? That battle between self, because you've pulled to the surface, as you've pulled up to the surface, right? What are the things that are that lie beneath when it came to the anger that you possess or the frustrations that you possess, right? You've pulled that to the surface to acknowledge it, and acknowledge it so that you can dismiss it. All right. And so this is part of the reality check. This is part of removing the mask and living in and expressing and being a whole part of your authentic self. Okay. So that is all I have for you, my beautiful pal number three. Really hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and also subscribe to the channel. And until next time, my lovelies, take care and bye bye.